Why do I drink G Fuel? Because it gives me energy.
Want to know more about G Fuel, your favorite brand of caffeinated drink? Or are you wondering what the heck it even is? Either way, here are the top 10 untold truths of G Fuel.
Right, the secret is G Fuel.
It's sugar-free.
And it'll be sugar-free! Sugar-free!
G Fuel was launched in 2012 by Gamma Labs, a company in West Babylon, New York. The goal of the company was to create the healthiest, most effective energy formula for gamers and compete with all of the other energy drinks out there. The first product they released was a caffeinated energy drink powder that you can mix with water. It started out with only 3 flavors, but it quickly grew into much more, from ready-to-drink cans and edible energy crystals. However, what really made them stand out from the rest of the energy drink crowd was that G Fuel is sugar-free.
Lone sugar isn't the same as sugar-free.
The idea is that without the use of sugar, consumers would avoid the crash when the effects of the drink wore off. This is a pretty solid idea, and when you look at the other energy drinks out there, you do see a good amount of sugar in them. A can of Red Bull has 10 grams of sugar, Monster Energy Drink has 11 grams, and AMP has 12 grams. G Fuel is then the perfect substitute for anyone wanting the kick, but without the sugar. The product also hypes the fact that they use more natural ingredients than their competitors, as well as the fact that G Fuel is gluten-free and packed with tons of antioxidants and B vitamins.
What are they?
The vitamins.
A fast-growing company.
We're the fastest growing edible brew company in the whole entire country.
In 2020, G Fuel announced that it had made the Inc. 5000 list, which names the 5,000 fastest growing private companies in the United States. That's an impressive list to be a part of, and not bad at all for a company that only launched in 2012. However, what is even more impressive is that they also made the list in 2016, 2017, 2018, and 2019, so they're no stranger to success. To make the 2020 list, Inc. looked at percentage revenue growth from 2016 to 2019. In that time, G Fuel saw a growth of over 195%.
Wow, that's huge!
G Fuel's explosive growth is mostly fueled by continuously growing its presence in the thriving gaming and esports community, and constantly trying to better itself. To quote from the press release, with over 200,000 5-star shopper-approved ratings, a shipping network that spans over 125 countries, a newly forged nationwide retail campaign, and a global social media footprint of over 625 million followers, G Fuel maintains the industry's largest and most passionate community of fans.
I have some fans to me.
The official drink of esports.
Did I just yawn? I'm wasting G Fuel.
These days, it seems like every sports league has an official something in almost every category. Did you know that Bridgestone is the official tire of the NFL? Some of these official partnerships might not make much sense. It's more of a way for the sports organizations to grab the cash and companies to get mega exposure, even if what they're selling doesn't really relate to the actual sport itself. But this isn't the case with the official partnership between G Fuel and esports. This partnership makes total sense. Esports athletes need to stay aware, alert, and focused for long stretches at a time.
Come on, we need to focus!
Playing video games professionally isn't as easy as many people think, and energy drinks have always been a part of that world. However, the excess of artificial ingredients and sugars in most of these drinks can have long-term negative effects on a gamer's health. G Fuel wants to provide gamers with a healthier, more performance-driven alternative to standard energy drink products. As G Fuel points out on their website, their first customer was a professional esports athlete who wanted an immediate increase in energy, focus, and endurance, without the use of toxic chemicals or additives found in typical energy drinks. Since then, they have only expanded their esports representation, and now they feature a whole host of popular gamers, Twitchers, and YouTube celebs as part of their Team Gamma.
And Gamma becomes Alpha.
Lots of collaborations.
Performance is a collaboration.
Over the years, G Fuel has released a whole variety of flavors. Some were limited editions, and others have since been discontinued. But one thing that the company loves to do is team up with athletes and various celebrities and entities in the gaming world to create collaboration flavors. There was a couple of video game collabs released in 2020, including a Sonic the Hedgehog-inspired Peach Rings flavor they created in partnership with Sega. Then, in October of last year, they teamed up with Activision to create the Wumpa Fruit flavor, which was inspired by the video game Crash Bandicoot 4: It's About Time. Besides those two, the company has also released flavors inspired by other games, including Doom Eternal and Resident Evil 3. One of G Fuel's most recent collaborations came in October of 2020 when they teamed up with FaZe Clan to celebrate the clan's 10th anniversary with FaZe X. But wait, there's more.
There's plenty more where that came from.
In 2019, they introduced a new flavor, KSI's Banana Strawberry, in collaboration with British YouTuber KSI. They also had a collab flavor with controversial YouTube star Keemstar. However, the company quietly discontinued his flavor and severed ties with him after conflict arose between him and another YouTuber who brought to light many less than pleasant things about the dude.
Conflict resolved! Conflict resolved!
G Fuel and tattoos.
Can't believe you guys are actually getting tattoos.
Excuse me? You guys are getting tattoos?
G Fuel has a bit of a history with tattoos, like the 2019 video posted on Facebook of a guy getting a G Fuel tattoo of a can of the stuff. Sure, it was probably a publicity stunt, but it was also a real tattoo. So you gotta love a drink a whole lot to get it inked into your skin forever. An even cooler tattoo fact about the company is something they posted on Twitter a couple of years back concerning tattoos and their employees. On National Tattoo Day back in 2018, G Fuel posted the fun fact that 83% of the company's employees have at least one tattoo.
No, I already have a tattoo.
How does this compare to the rest of the population as a whole, you ask? Well, in 2019, a poll reported that 30% of Americans have at least one tattoo, and in 2017, another stated that 38% of 18 to 25-year-olds were inked. Given those numbers, it actually makes the G Fuel fun fact pretty impressive. It also gives you a good comeback to all those older folks in your life who tell you not to get a tattoo because it will hurt your chances of finding a job. Although, with that being said, you might want to think twice about getting a Mike Tyson-esque face tattoo. But in the end, you do you.
This is a real tattoo!
Taurine.
The innocent little amino acid that everyone seems to think is this terrible, terrible thing.
One of the ingredients in G Fuel is taurine, and the makers of G Fuel have been criticized by some people for not disclosing exactly how much of the stuff is in their product. Taurine is an organic compound that is widely distributed in animal tissue. As a major constituent of bile, taurine is found in the large intestine and is essential for cardiovascular function and development, and of skeletal muscle, the retina, and the central nervous system.
It is inside me. Great work, team!
Besides being found in some energy drinks, taurine is also used in some cosmetics and contact lens solutions, among other things. In response to the criticisms about the compound in the drink, the G Fuel CEO has said that there is nothing wrong with taurine, especially in small amounts. Although, according to one study, while there is probably nothing wrong with taurine in the amounts being used in the drink, there probably aren't any benefits to having it in there either. A 2008 study concluded that the amounts of guarana, taurine, and ginseng found in popular energy drinks are far below the amounts expected to deliver either therapeutic benefits or adverse events.
I need another energy drink!
Caffeine.
Ultimately, I just love caffeine too much.
While G Fuel, unlike most of its competitors, is sugar-free, it definitely isn't lacking in caffeine. Now, caffeine is one of those things that is regulated differently in different countries, so the exact amount per serving will vary depending on where you are living. Just like how Americans and Canadians haven't been getting the same exact Mountain Dew for years. Generally, the amount of caffeine in one 16-ounce serving of G Fuel is 150 milligrams. This is a little lower than the amount in the same serving size of Red Bull. However, there are newer cans of G Fuel that have been introduced that contain double the amount of caffeine, 300 milligrams.
Ooh, double it. Double everything. Double ice cream, double napkins.
Compared to the most popular caffeine delivery system in the world, coffee, G Fuel certainly holds its own. 2 cups of coffee brings with it about 200 milligrams of caffeine. So, is it safe? Well, there is no real consensus on caffeine safety levels, but once you start getting over 300 milligrams per day, it can start having adverse effects on your system, depending on the person, including nausea, headaches, sleep difficulties, or increased anxiety. There have also been studies suggesting that it only takes 100 milligrams per day to start creating a dependence. All that being said, for those trying to avoid caffeine altogether, G Fuel does offer a G Fuel hydration formula line that is non-caffeinated.
No caffeine or substances containing caffeine.
Lead lawsuit.
Sure, I'll join your lawsuit.
In 2018, G Fuel settled the lawsuit with California's Environmental Research Center over lead contamination in their G Fuel products. The CERC sued G Fuel for not labeling its product properly under the rules of State Proposition 65. CEO Cliff Morgan explained the issue to the public in a Twitter post, saying that due to the natural ingredients that G Fuel uses in its product, there are some trace amounts of lead that get absorbed into them, as is the case with all natural vitamins, minerals, fruits, and vegetables grown in soil. According to Morgan, the amount of lead found in G Fuel is well below the FDA guidelines, but that California's Proposition 65 has stricter guidelines, and they require warning labels on any product that causes an exposure of 0.5 micrograms of lead per day.
Okay, seriously, Lester, it's getting really annoying.
The FDA limit is 75 for adults and 6 for children. He tweeted that, "My kids and entire family drink G Fuel. I stand behind the product." With the lawsuit settled, G Fuel now puts the proper warning labels on their products in California.
I will put it right up front.
The cans are pretty new.
It is new, it is different.
It was only a couple of years ago that the only way you could enjoy G Fuel in a can was to get an empty can, pour in some G Fuel powder, add water, shake, and enjoy. When Gamma Labs first introduced G Fuel to the world, it was only available as a powder that the consumer would have to mix with water to make their own fuel. This obviously did well for them, and the company's sales grew bigger year after year. But while the powder was doing well, all of their competitors' drinks came in single-serving cans. So it was only a matter of time before G Fuel started doing the same and soon found their cans on store shelves and in fridges.
Maybe if we're lucky, we can just buy it in a store.
Well, that was in the summer of 2019. And when they did it big by releasing their fuel in 16-ounce cans. For those who don't know, 8 fluid ounces is equal to 1 cup. And you don't have to be a math whiz to know that 16 ounces would then be equal to 2 cups. That's quite a bit of caffeinated fuel for one person. Even on their website, the company says that for their canned products, they recommend you do not exceed 1 serving per day.
Once a day. Here.
It's good, but not as good as water.
No, you need to drink water.
When it comes to any energy drink, there's always a safety concern. What's exactly in it? And given how much some people consume, can it do harm? Well, the folks at Esports Healthcare did a total breakdown of G Fuel to determine if it was safe. The investigation broke down every single supplement in G Fuel, looking at what it does and how much is in each serving of the drink. For example, a serving of G Fuel, 1 scoop, contains 10 to 25 calories, depending on the flavor, which is not much at all, and, as they say, will not drastically alter any daily consumption goals you may have. One of the supplements in G Fuel is sucralose, which may have an inhibitory effect on the growth of healthy bacteria in the gut.
It's bacteria shake, an ancient and rare bacteria.
However, the research on this is still uncertain, and according to the FDA, the amount in a G Fuel serving is within acceptable guidelines. We won't bore you with every single supplemental fact check, but we will quote their conclusions, which state, compared to other energy supplements targeted for gamers, G Fuel is an excellent choice and a healthier alternative to sugar-loaded energy drinks. However, at the end of the day, we still suggest drinking water versus any artificially flavored beverage. And if you want a boost, consider black coffee, green tea, or other natural sources of caffeine. So basically, choose that next drink carefully.
You have chosen wisely.
Thirsty for more? Just tap or click for more great videos, and hit that subscribe button and ring that bell to join our notification squad.